Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Corner Office. 2 days removed from potentially the worst day in American history. We had two football games on Sunday, both conference championship games, one between the Eagles and the lovable underdog Commanders at 3 o'clock. And then another matchup between the Josh Allen-led Buffalo Bills and the Kansas City Chiefs. And I hate to say it, but from the beginning, I knew this was going to happen. I knew the Chiefs were going to suck all season, win a bunch of one-possession games against bad teams, and then steamroll through the playoffs somehow. And we're here again.
And you know what? It's my fault. It's my fault for being upset because I made a conscious decision to hate on them all year, knowing damn well what was going to happen.
Yep.
And before the game, I told you that we both knew what was going to happen, but that you should purely hate watch with blind fandom because it hurts so much more that way. And did it hurt that way?
Sure did.
It hurt? Yeah, it sure did. It really did.
Yeah.
I mean, consciously in the third quarter when the Buffalo Bills went up by a full score, I said, we're at this stage of the cycle where it's like, oh my God, I think they're going to lose. And now it's what's left is like bullshittery, ref help, Chiefs win. And then it was exactly what happened.
Yeah.
But I just didn't really enjoy watching football again this week.
And here's another one for you. You watched how many hours of football this year? We tallied it. We have the number.
Let's say
right
hypothetically, I watched the 1 o'clock games, which I did.
Yep.
And then
on Red Zone. So that's at least 4 hours of the week.
It's exactly 3 hours.
3 hours. All right.
And let's say I watched the first half of the 4 o'clock game and the first half of the 8 o'clock game. Normally I did more than that, but let's say hypothetically I watched that. And the first half of the Monday night and Thursday night football games.
Uh-huh.
That's another 6 hours combined.
Yep.
So that's 12 hours a week. And I did watch 18 weeks of football.
Yep.
So let me just pull out the calc real quick. That's short for calculator if you're not keeping up.
Yeah. If you weren't.
That's 216 hours. Plus 2 weeks.
Give or take 216 hours, because that could be plus
it could
or
have been
minus
much more. It could have been much more. Plus 3 weeks of playoff football and the preseason. I would say I'm probably pretty close to 300 hours.
For the same thing. Here we are again. For the
same exact thing.
And all the playoff weeks where you watched and you went, maybe this is the year that someone wins. Maybe this is the year that something happens here. I mean, I guess like
I could have read 10 books in those 300 hours. I could have been in like Spanish 3 in 300 hours.
The Chiefs make Jack so angry that he decided that he might go and pick up a book. The
Chiefs made me so angry the other day that after they won the football game, I called Alex and I angrily cleaned my bathroom. That's how upset I was. I was so upset. I was like, all right, I'm gonna do something productive.
Yep. Needed to walk it off. I mean, at least for Josh Allen, you get to go home to like one of the most beautiful women on the planet.
If I'm Haley Steinfeld, I'm not letting him get anything after that game. She looked at him probably verbatim and said, 4 straight years, Josh? 4 for this?
Were different.
4 for me? They're going to sign a prenup for sure.
Yeah. So just a rough day for the American public. I mean, now you have the Eagles, who I don't think anybody really likes that much. To be honest with you, I don't hate them as much as other people do. I just think the fandom like annoys people. And then the Chiefs, who like actively make me angry. And I'm also not looking at this matchup and going, oh my goodness, like the Eagles are going to win, which I really don't like.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't like the fact that the team that's coming out of the NFC, like our last hope right now, is a team that's already lost to the Chiefs in the Super Bowl.
There's one man who can save us.
Saquon Barkley. If you can hear us.
If you can hear us, Saquon Barkley. I mean, the worst part about the Eagles is their fans, hands down. And one of my friends is an Eagles fan. The rest of them are Commanders fans. And he looked them in the eyes and said, you guys are annoying because you don't know how to win. And everyone turned and looked at him and was like, what are you talking about? You guys win one playoff game and instantly turn into the most hateable brand of people on the planet. And you're telling them, the team that hasn't won in 30 years, that they don't know how to win?
They just suck, yeah.
The Eagles fans are the worst. However, this week I will be the biggest Eagles fan on the planet.
Yes, I will too. I will be pulling for the Eagles heavily. And there's nothing that anyone can tell me, about that, because like we said, it's way more fun to just root for the team against the team that you know is going to win. You know what I mean? And then like have all that feeling of heartbreak when it happens.
Would you say that you are more confident in this Eagles team this year than you were in the team that played the Chiefs 2 years ago?
Probably. Yeah, I mean, I think Saquon Barkley is the X factor. He's due for a touchdown basically every game. But I think the Chiefs' run defense is way better than the Commanders.
And
but
that
being
Eagles'
said,
offensive line is very banged up.
Yeah,
Landon Dickerson probably won't play. Cam Jurgens was also hurt in that game.
Black Magic.
Bullshit.
Yeah. But I mean, he's really the difference maker for this Eagles team, because I mean their passing game is fine. You know what I mean? Like Jalen Hurts can get the ball out sometimes, and AJ Brown and Devonta Smith are obviously really good weapons.
But they haven't even been using them for the past.
But I also think
weeks.
Their secondary is better. Like I think their defense is probably better than the Bills' defense. But that being said, the Chiefs kind of just mow you down. Like Xavier Worthy last week was like pretty much unguardable. So it's kind of a toss up here, I would say. And then my gut is like, okay, the Chiefs are going to win this football game, because that's just how the script was, set. And
you know what sucks? We're gonna have to listen to Tom Brady call the game.
Oh God!
Which hypothetically is probably the best case scenario here, because we don't want to hear Collinsworth or Romo.
Yeah,
but simultaneously, like, come on,
Tommy B, Tommy Bird,
Tommy B. How's your mother? Tommy B.
But
Brady put the microphone down and give it back to Greg Olsen.
You think there's going to be like there's going to be some legendary like thing, where they're like, oh, Pat Mahomes is, trying to cement his legacy as one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time.
Phantom ankle injury every time the playoffs roll around.
playing through injury, and Tom Brady's gonna be like, yeah, but I beat him in the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? Like there's gonna be something like that. I'm calling it right now. Yeah. Something like that is coming. And it's gonna be forced and unfun, and I'm not gonna like it when it happens. And
or there's gonna be like obvious tension between him and Kevin Burkhardt, when Kevin Burkhardt's like, and if with this win, Mahomes is seriously on track to become one of the greatest of all time, and Tom Brady like looks over at him. He's like, you said what?
Aren't you? Who are you?
But it will be true. It will certainly be true.
Yeah, it will. It will. Which is, another kick in the balls there. Look, I think it's time that you and everyone in the American world hops off the Bills bandwagon permanently.
Yeah.
They're not going to the Super Bowl, guys. I hate to say it.
This may be the last year that they're good, if history repeats itself.
Yeah.
They're known for losing in periods of 4
years in a row. Yep.
This is the fourth year.
Here it is.
I also thought that if we're going to go back and we're going to talk about that football game, which we should, I think Sean McDermott lost in that football game. And I think that he lost it with the 2 failed 2-point conversions. I don't think that he came up with the right play call in that scenario. That team is not built for the tush push, even with Josh Allen. Yeah. And they kept trying to do that little fake like run to the left so that he could get in, because that's his favorite side to run on. But I thought there were a lot of times where Sean McDermott's play calling either put them in bad situations, like a 3rd and long in a crucial moment, or it like left points on the board, like those 2 points conversions. I think most notably is the play that they drew up on the Bills' last possession, where obviously Steve Spagnuolo, the guy who's known for having the best blitzes at the highest blitz rate in like the history of the NFL, was obviously going to bring a blitz, and they drew up like, they gave Josh Allen no protection and made him fling up something, which
could have been caught.
You can say what you will there, but it wasn't. And at the end of the day, I think that comes down to play calling.
Yeah, I don't necessarily disagree. I think that like everybody and their mother knew that Josh Allen was going to take the ball on 4th and 1. You know what I mean? So like maybe don't do that.
Yeah.
Maybe don't try and emulate.
Especially when your running back is killing.
Yeah, James Cook had a good game.
He had a great game.
And like, look, Josh Allen is obviously the most dynamic player on your roster too. Like, I get that. And did he get the first down? Like, that is a question. But you're at like fourth and inches, right? And you can't get the first because you're trying to do something. Like, you can't definitively get the first down. Like, that makes no sense to me. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like even there could have been better play calling. And then
even the play calling leading up to that, right? Like, why are you like? It was like a third and 8. They took a shot on first down. Got a couple random yards on second down. 3rd and 8, came up with a mediocre play call just to get some back, and then 4th and 1.
Right.
Couldn't get across the line.
I mean, you have the failed 2-point conversion, which I did agree with at the time when they did it in the first half, because they got the penalty to put it on the 1-yard line, and you do the same thing. You give the ball to Josh Allen at the 1, and you try and get him in the end zone, right? Like they replicated the same play twice, and they expected it to work the second time, and it didn't work the first time, and I think everybody knew that was what they were going to do.
I'm surprised that they didn't try and bounce Josh Allen out wide and just let him come up with some broken
break
play,
a tackle,
which is
do something.
Exactly what they did all year.
Right. It makes very little sense to me. So a question that I have for you just on this game in particular, and I know we're not really talking about the Commanders versus the Eagles, which, I mean, we can if you really want to.
It was a blowout. I mean,
yeah. Here's what I got to tell you. The Washington Commanders defense just didn't show up. They had a lot of injuries. They weren't capable of keeping up with this
and the
defense.
Washington Commanders offense turned the ball over too much.
Correct. And, when Saquon Barkley goes against the 30th overall run defense in the league, shit happens. So that's kind of what.
And by shit, you mean
55 points.
55 points, 122 total yards and 3 touchdowns in 3 quarters.
Yep.
Okay, so that is shit.
But I got to ask you, do you think that this is McDermott's last year as the Bills head coach, or do you think his tenure, maybe not this year, but as a head coach is coming to an end? Because it kind of feels like he's one of those types of guys who can get you to the big game, but can't win you it. You know what I mean?
Let me pose a hypothetical for you, right?
Okay.
Let's take Sean McDermott's situation.
Yep.
And let's move it to another sport.
Okay.
If there was a coach in the NBA who consistently could get you to the divisional round, they could get you to the conference finals, but they couldn't quite get over the hump.
Mm-hmm.
Would the team have moved on by now? I mean, it's been 7 years. Would the team have moved on?
I think so. If you don't have a resume,
let me give you an example.
Yep.
The Lob City Clippers were good from 2011 to 2018, roughly.
Mm-hmm.
And many times in that span, they went to the divisional, or they went to the conference finals. They went to the second round, right?
Yep.
But they couldn't quite get over the hump, and they never went to a finals.
Well, you could point to a bunch of guys in that specific scenario. Doc Rivers, for one, was fired. D'Antoni,
another guy
D'Antoni in Houston. JB Bickerstaff last year in Cleveland.
Billy Donovan in Oklahoma City.
Yep. So, I mean, I think it's a different game. I think the NBA simply is just a different game. Like,
I agree, but the place that I was going with that point was you've now given Josh Allen a good enough roster.
Right.
Many years in a row.
Right.
It's proven that it's not enough. And I think that it was very clear in this game that it was the play calling that did so.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what do I think will happen? I think that they will stay with him because I think that he is a good football coach in the NFL.
Yep.
But do I think it's wise? Not necessarily, because he has never won a big game. And he's proven that he is incapable of doing so down the stretch.
Right. I don't disagree, but I also don't know when you look at that and you go, okay, we should move on from him, because I don't know what options you think you're going to bring in and like improve. You know what I mean? I also don't think that
they're also still a team that has so many holes depth chart wise.
Yeah, and you could also say just in general, like, as much as it doesn't really matter because a loss is a loss, it's not like they're getting destroyed. You know what I mean? Like they're not losing. So say for instance the Lob City Clippers. You know, you lose in a gentleman's sweep 5-1, 4-1, or something like that, right? Like you can point to that and say, okay, we clearly weren't ready for this series. We got dominated. Let's move on, right? But you're losing these games in absolute heartbreaking fashion, like last play, one play, fourth quarter, overtime. Like you're in the game the entire way, and then you still have a chance with 2 minutes left to win it if your defense gets a stop. You know what I mean? And they can't get it done. You know, so is that on the play caller? Like a little bit, I think it is. I think it's also on the players.
And I think it's on the front office, right? Because, I mean, there's many places that you can point to on this team. Most notably, the wide receiver room. I mean, Josh Allen's doing a lot with a lot of really mediocre talent right now.
Yep.
You could also point to the secondary. Not fantastic.
Not fantastic.
Defensive line is just okay. Obviously, they have Ed Oliver, but they're not like a stupendous defense.
Right.
So I think that there's a lot of places where you can point to and be like, this is a cause of them not being good enough.
Right.
And I think that games like that come down to the little things, and great players do enough of the little things to win you close games, but good players don't. And I think that is why the Chiefs consistently win.
Yeah, I agree.
But this is not a game that I left being upset at the Chiefs.
Nope.
Normally I am. To my knowledge, they didn't get a ton of help from the referees today. The other day. And I don't think that they got away with anything. They just outplayed the Bills, and the Bills shot themselves in the foot. Now, what this did tell me was that the NFL needs one thing moving forward in the playoffs.
Tell me.
The Cincinnati Bengals and Joe Burrow. They
I
have
agree.
to be in the playoffs.
I agree.
Have to be.
I agree.
You know how we always say, like, in terms of college basketball, we're like, college basketball is better when Michigan State is good, or college basketball is better when Kansas is good. Like,
yeah.
And the NFL is better
when the
Bengals are in the playoffs.
I agree. 100% full front. And I do think that that's probably the only team that's proven that they have any capability to beat this Chiefs team in the playoffs thus far. Which is a funny thing because, I mean, again, we were talking about them being super dangerous coming into the playoffs, and then obviously you have the Broncos who win, and it was like, oh, this is where the script turned. The tide is turning, right? Like it's happening.
It did.
And it sure did. Because I think that they're one of those teams that can score with the Chiefs. You know what I mean? Like I feel like at some point a game against the Chiefs is going to come down to who can put up more points, not who can defend.
Well, there was no punts in the first half, right?
Yep. So I mean that kind of proves itself, I guess. But yeah, I mean it's a disappointing state of being in America right now, especially as a football fan who wants to see some parity. And it felt like this year, you know, you may get something like a really cool story. Commanders, Lions, you know, Vikings under Sam Darnold. I mean, all these are NFC teams, but you get what I'm saying, right? Josh Allen gets to his first Super Bowl. Lamar gets to his first Super Bowl, something like that. And we're back with the same exact result that everyone was kind of dreading.
Yeah, and it is just genuinely becoming unentertaining. I mean, if I started the season with the amount of disappointment that I end the NFL season with, I wouldn't watch. But obviously, I spend months waiting for it to come back.
Right.
And I
so
get
much
hooked
optimism.
Every time. It's like when you're fishing and you catch a fish, right? And then you release it and you catch the same fish. That's been me for 20 years. And I'm not going to stop. I'm going to chase the worm every time.
Yeah, as you should.
Yeah,
I hear you.
You know why else the NFL is great, though, especially in the offseason? And by great, I mean horrendously unwatchable.
I would love to know. Tell me.
Because of the off-season antics that go on with everyone signing either in free agency or NFL coaches. Alex, there's nothing that makes me more happy than seeing an NFL coach absolutely embarrass himself on the stand within the first 24 hours of him being hired.
Oh man, are we talking about the Jags dude?
We are talking about Liam Cohen. Dude,
yeah.
He went up on that stand and basically non-verbally said, we are going to go 3-14 next year.
We are going to suck at football. Look, we hated the hire before this video came out of him going, Duval. He does some weird eyebrow shit where he like raises one eyebrow when he says it. The Jags, the community, Duval.
Jacksonville.
There you go.
The community. Duval.
Oh, felt that one in like my lower sternum.
It's
Like
the
a
worst
shooting
one.
pain.
It's
like
the worst one I've
acupuncture.
seen since the Arizona guy. What's his name?
Jonathan Gannon got
Yeah,
signed on his
Gannon.
first day, and he went up to Rondale Moore, and he was like, "You baby, pew 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 pew, shots, baby, we're taking shots, pew pew." And the video
Quickness,
came out, and
agility,
everyone was like, "What?" Let me look up Rondale Moore's stats because they are not good.
No. I mean, 2 years
He's now.
ago.
I mean, he's now playing for the Falcons, so he's
Okay.
not on the team anymore.
Yeah, they weren't taking that many shots though. 2 years
And,
ago, it was
And he had 14 yards last year, or 414 yards last year. So
2 or 3 years ago, it was Dan Campbell with "We're biting kneecaps off."
Yeah.
There's one every year. There's one every year that you look.
I remember
at
there
and
was
you're like,
one of like one of the Jets players got signed in free agency. He couldn't get into the building.
Oh yeah. It was the Seahawks guy, the
Leonard
safety,
Williams.
Jamal Adams.
Oh yeah,
Adams?
Jamal Adams. Yeah, Jamal Adams.
Yeah, they're like, damn, must have changed it. Must have been traded.
Yeah. And then obviously the most famous example is Broncos country. Let's ride.
Oh god.
That was horrible.
Yeah.
That was bad.
Broncos country. That's right.
We've officially entered. We care so little about this Super Bowl, or we're so uninterested that we're already talking about like July, August bullshit.
Let's ride with the football out. Let's ride.
They played that in the stadium all year too. That was like a promo video.
Really? It was like
Yeah.
the boom.
It was like I'm so sick of the boom, dude. I'm actually so sick of it.
I'll come out and
Actually
say
so
it.
upset.
I'm not cool with the boom anymore.
I'm gonna say the stuff that no one wants to say. No one
Yeah.
has the balls to say that they hate the boom.
Yeah, I mean, be careful, dude. Big AJ and Big Justice have some ties to some people that I don't think.
I know.
you
I
want
said
showing
that
up at your
yesterday, and
doorstep.
they came in my nightmares and gave me wicked sleep paralysis. It was
Yeah.
insane.
They gave you 5 dooms.
I woke up with like doom all over me. It was insane.
I doomed all in my pants.
The last thing that we should talk about in the NFL is it was just announced a couple hours ago that Drake May is a Pro Bowler. Sweet.
Why? Great.
Cool.
I hope he gritties.
I hope he doesn't. That did not work well last time. I hope he gritties, dude. If he gritties, I'm going to crash out.
That'd be awesome. Why is he a Pro Bowler? Like, did Josh Allen Lamar just like step? Is the Pro Bowl like? It feels like a joke. Like
The Pro Bowl's
I mean, I know it
it's
is a joke. Is All Pro like the one that matters? Like, do any of them matter really? Like,
Well, I mean, it depends, right? Like, do you want to go to Hawaii and put a bucket hat and some pit vipers on and catch
play
footballs?
dodgeball? Yeah.
Yeah, play dodgeball. If
Play
so,
tug of war? Yeah.
if so, you're Amon-Ra St. Brown
Okay.
and Tyreek Hill. Other than
And then
that, no one cares.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough. But I'm
Although
just like,
there always is one great Pro Bowl video of like a quarterback who was on like a playoff contender team missing like all of the targets.
yeah.
Like I remember Kirk
Missing
Cousins a couple years
500
ago
throws.
went and missed every target.
Yeah, it's got to be tough. And by tough, I mean not that hard, but like a little
I
bit
mean,
tough.
I mean, like really easy, like hard for me, but like a warm up drill for an NFL quarterback.
should be relatively not that bad for an NFL level quarterback. But yeah, that's a thing, right? I mean, the Pro Bowl is fun. I just don't get it because like the NBA, like All-Star games are super important for your like Hall of Fame resume, and then we have Mac Jones in the Pro Bowl who won 3 football games and 2 football games. I don't even 3 football games. 3 football
No,
games.
that year was the playoff year, so he won like 10 that year.
Oh, I meant Drake May. Sorry, Drake May.
Oh
won
yeah,
3
Drake May's in the
football
Pro
games this year.
Bowl. We won 4 games, and one
Yeah,
of them
but
he didn't
won
play
3
in.
of them. Yeah,
he
right,
won
exactly.
3 of them. And he made it in Adrian Gonzalez. I say that every
Christian
time.
Gonzalez.
I literally say that every time. Shout out the Red Sox.
Red Sox
Christian
legend, Adrian
Christian Gonzalez did not make the Pro Bowl, but made All Pro. So like, who's selecting this?
I don't know. I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense. The parody. It's weird. It's weird. That I don't think I'll ever understand that.
Damar Hamlin Super Bowl or Pro Bowl fill-in. Pro Bowl substitute Damar Hamlin.
Congratulations, Damar.
Prayers for Damar.
Yeah, but I mean, that's kind of the state of mind that we're in right now. We're just kind of goofing around because
We're just kind of bummed out, dude. We're just kind of bummed out, and we're just
but you
we're
got
just
you got to
yoking
make
around to get
you got to
over
make the
it.
most of it. You got to make the most of it. And you know our team is bad, and the Chiefs are really good, and that's annoying. And here we are.
Yep, that's pretty well said. And we have no signs of getting any better
No signs
at all.
signs.
So
No
the
signs.
Chiefs have no signs of stopping. So get used to it.
Yeah,
I think we're both going to have a pretty pessimistic look at next NFL season.
We'll keep hating from the sideline, but yeah, I'm not really gonna be, super. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say I'm not gonna be super stoked for the next NFL season, and then the spring, like September, is gonna come around, and I'm gonna go, this is the best time of year, and everybody's.
I think it starts in late July.
Yeah.
After July 4th, we're gonna have a counter going of when the NFL season starts.
We're gonna win a preseason game and be like,
I'm gonna draft 4 members of the Chicago Bears offense and be like, this is the year they're gonna do it.
I'm gonna draft Demario Douglas and Kendrick Bourne. And
Did you do that?
no,
Oh, thank God.
no,
Yep.
I did not.
Anyways, Patriots front office, start signing guys. I don't want to wait any longer.
Yeah, AJ Brown would look really good in navy blue.
T. Higgins would look great in the blue and red.
Agreed.
So that's all we have for you this week. We'll be back later this week to do a whole kind of basketball episode.
Yep.
Because we haven't really done that in a little while. But until then, thank you for listening. As always, this has been the Corner Office, and I am Jack Byrne.
And I'm Alex Penders.
Corner 3. Hey, this is Carl Sheffers throwing the flag last week. Corner 3.
What? First and down? Fourth and 10?
3rd and 15? That's a hold on the defense.